It is Monday, June 2nd, 2025. This is another edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Sawyer along for the ride as well. Welcome to West Sacramento. All I can say is you crushed it this weekend on your two Twins games. I watched the whole thing on Friday, the back half at least. You were like, I told you this right before we came on air. You were like Tony Romo his first year in the NFL when he was always a step ahead of what happened. That was you Friday night.
I appreciate that, Chris. I was lucky enough to have some really good games to call. We only did two. We did Friday and Sunday, as Saturday was a national game that Wainwright and Benetti did a great job with. But yeah, it was just when you have good baseball games, it makes it so much easier to call games. So shout out Corey Provis too, who makes my job super easy. He's great.
Yeah, no, you were great. We look forward to hearing what you have to say about the A's and what their stadium will bring.
Yeah, I'm curious, man. I don't think like our, in Seattle, we have a huge booth and a beautiful view. I don't know if I'm going to get that here. I'm curious to see how it is.
You actually might be calling it from where you're sitting right now.
I might be. It's going to be hot. I know that, which I'm not excited about. I'm just sweating everywhere.
Yeah. Oh man. Extra short sleeves. You could be like McAfee. Just rip the sleeves off.
I might, Chris. I might.
All right, we got a ton to get to, as we always do on Monday's show, but we start with the tip of the cap, and it's kind of a somber one. But also it's a lot of hope and appreciation at the same time. Ellie De La Cruz's Cincinnati Reds fine young shortstop lost his sister on Saturday. And obviously the team was like, go do your thing with your family. He said, no, I need to be here. I need to play baseball. And so he did on Sunday. And he ended up hitting a home run. Reds lost the game. Kind of irrelevant. He smashed one down the right field foul pole. Fair. And as you can see, paying homage and respect to his late sister as he crossed home plate. The little heart thing about broke me up, man.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of send your condolences his way. And I think a lot of guys, will use the game as an escape, somewhere where they can go and not think about some things, or in Ellie's case, do something special and think about what happened. So yeah, definitely a somber tip of the cap, but a great job by Ellie showing love to the sis.
Yeah, and I think that it's really important. All of us have to keep this in mind as baseball fans. They're human beings inside of that uniform. And when we hop on social media and write this venomous stuff about how angry you make us, or how you cost us a bet, or how you're pissing off my team and you're costing us this and that, just remember who they are. Real people. They hurt, they love, they feel just like the rest of us do. So just keep that in mind. And certainly thinking about Ellie De La Cruz and his family on this day. As for the games, there weren't a ton of great series. There were some interesting moments, no question about it. The creme de la creme was the World Series rematch, Yankees and Dodgers. And I got to tell you, champs, they took 2 or 3 in this series. There was no shortage of star power, pun intended.
There's a fly ball hit to center field, hit way back, and this one's not going to come back either. Aaron Judge starts off this World Series rematch with a blast. And now he hits one, left center field. It's Judge 1, Ohtani 1.
That was a great call. Judge 1, Ohtani 1. It was the first time we had ever seen that, where the reigning AL and NL MVPs each homered in the first inning of a game against one another. Pretty cool.
No, I mean, it was awesome. That's what I think. If you're into the Yankees, you're into the Dodgers, you're not necessarily like all about the Judge Ohtani matchup, but if you're kind of a casual fan or just enjoying it as a baseball viewer, that's exactly what you wanted to see.
Yeah, and both guys were asked about it afterward, and I understand their reluctance to make it about them. I mean, particularly in baseball, where it is such a team sport. I wish one of them would have said, you know what? It was freaking cool. It is. And like, I have so much respect and appreciation for what that guy does over there and what their team's about. And all, because you could say the same thing about these two teams. There might have been a bunch of words by the Dodgers after the World Series and all that stuff. Things got a little prickly, but they do. I mean, these are two great teams, albeit very different than the ones we saw in 2024, battling it out for the World Series ring. I just wish they would have been like, yeah, it was awesome. And it's harder for Judge because he lost. So And he's always calculated anyway, right? You ever notice that when he gets asked a question, he always does this. And then he starts.
Yeah, he's
Takes a
thinking
deep
about
breath.
what he's about to say. He's
He is-
got to, man.
Yeah, he is. He is. Biggest thing that you learned from this weekend series, if anything?
I think we've already seen this from the Dodgers because they have, I believe, the most comeback victories in the sport so far this season. But it's just really hard to stop that offense for 9 innings. Like it is, especially with the way Max Muncy's come on, with Andy Pages kind of, lengthen that lined up. But if you just go through it, and I know we knew this coming into the season, this is one of the better lineups we've seen constructed, but they've consistently proved it. And I'm just thinking like, okay, you get into a playoff game and oh my gosh, my room service is here already.
That is amazing. That's you just ordered it like 2 minutes before we started.
I gotta get it. Hold on. I'm talking about the Dodgers until I get back. Hold on.
Okay.
I got good stuff to say, but I gotta get my room service. Hold on.
All right. Tip your server well. Don't forget about this. All right. I'll take up the point from here so we don't have to listen to Trevor say thank you very much and you could put it over here. Let's find out. You know what? He better tip at least 20%. At least 20. He's a big leaguer. He's back in the show now. So, yeah, I want to ask how much he tipped. What do we all think? Put it in the comments. Do you think he's a big tipper, like 25, 30%? Or do we think he's like a 15% guy? You can't do that in the big leagues. I'm just telling you from talking to a lot of people and just traveling a lot myself. You always tip on the higher end because there's always that possibility that server is going to know who you are. And if word gets around that you're a shitty tipper, that happens. Okay. What was the bill?
It was before I added the tip, $27.
And what is it now?
Well, they already include a
No, just
additional gratuity.
tell me what it is now.
I didn't put anything.
Oh, you are full of shit. You're
I'm just
kidding
kidding.
me.
I gave him $7 extra on top
Thank
of
you.
the already stuff that was put in.
We were just I was having a discussion with our community about how much you tip. Not you in particular, but how much the general public should tip.
It's honestly, for being serious here, they already added in. It's so expensive to get room service. It's ridiculous, dude. But you can't be that person. I can't be that person.
No, you have to tip at least 20%.
They already added in.
So you add more.
So like he's ended up getting, let's see, he got like 40%.
Good. He can use it probably.
Hey.
And I'm sure he's very appreciative of you.
I don't know.
I had a great discussion with the community. I said, you have to tip at least 20%, if not 25 or 30% total, because word will get around if people know who you are. You know this from playing in the big leagues.
What I ordered cost $19.
Uh-huh.
And the end bill was
$35. Okay. You're a hell of a tipper.
Hold on, come back, dude.
You know what? I'm going to deliver your room service tomorrow based on what you
unbelievable.
Just tipped. Can we get back to the discussion? What else? What did you learn? You said about the lengthening lineup and their the Dodgers' ability to come back.
I just think it just shows that they're going to be very difficult to beat. Now, is that some groundbreaking analysis? No, but if you're a team, it's like, dude, like if you're the Tigers, we got the starting pitching in this bullpen. Like, okay, you got to do it for 9 innings against this team, and it's not gonna freaking happen. Like, I think this Dodgers team, if they are all healthy, that offense alone, you didn't even talk about the pitching. Like, they're gonna have to figure some pitching out. I think that could end up being a problem for them. But you're gonna have to score 6-7 runs against the Dodgers to beat them. I think in the playoff games, this team their offense is that good.
Yeah, Max Muncy, pretty awesome. 5 hits, 3 homers, 8 ribs. I talked about the top 5 in the lineup on Friday's show, and that was assuming that Mookie was going to be there. We didn't know at the time that he fractured a toe or whatever around the house.
Get some nightlights, Mookie.
Yeah. I mean, holy smokes. Yes. Just walk into the room and they pop on.
Do you know what hold on, before I go, do you know what this offense's the ranks are for them right now?
Well, I did know. I looked at the Yankees and like one of the teams has got like an 819 OPS, and one of them's got an 812 OPS or something nuts. So both these teams are killing it.
First in average, first in on-base percentage, first in OPS, first in runs, first in home runs. That's without Mookie having a year that Mookie can have. That's with Max Muncy just starting to get going. Like, look out.
Yeah, I get it. I thought it was really interesting that Ryan Yarbrough continues to pitch great for the Yankees. If we had been 2.5 or 9 weeks into his season and said he was in the starting rotation, you would have been like, what the hell's the matter with the Yankees? He's pitched great, out-dueling Yamamoto. You know, they kicked Yamamoto to the curb before he even gets in 4 innings. He just didn't have his stuff, and the Yankees took advantage of that. Overall, really good series for the Dodgers. Yankees get out of there. Long road trip through Colorado, Anaheim, and then Los Angeles. And wasn't a great showing by them at all. Saturday, everybody gets their brains beat in at some point during the year. But
I think that salvaging that last game was huge for them, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was big. Big for them. Yeah, that's fine. But it was good. I mean, was it a great series? No. Friday night's game was probably the most enjoyable. The others were whatever. That's what I would say. Let us know in the comments section. Is there anything that you take away from that series? I don't think we can over dramatize it one way or another. I don't think the Yankee talk shows in New York can go, oh my God, what's happening? The sky's falling. Well, they lost the series. Not a big deal. That's the way I look at it. Hottest team in baseball? This one. The Milwaukee Brewers. Hammered Philly this weekend.
Hammered.
Fly ball to left. This one's got a shot and gone again for Hoskins. Second 3-run homer of the afternoon.
My goodness.
You know, the guy hits one of the most famous homers in Philly's playoff history where he's slamming the bat in the whole bit, and now he hits 2 homers in a game and crushes Philly's spirit, and all of a sudden we're booing the guy. That's good fandom. I like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what he wanted. A little bit of cheer to start the series off, and then some boos, because if you're getting booed on the road, you're doing something right. That's what he said.
So Brewers have won 7 in a row. I remember last week at some point we talked about which team in the National League Central that's chasing Chicago is most likely to be a seller at the deadline. We both said Milwaukee. Do we have to rethink this? Like, are they really a part of the division chase discussion, or is this just a hot streak?
I think they can be, but they've started to play the way that they need to play. I mean, I think that there was a very awesome Brewers win in game 1 where the Yelly homers twice. I think they had 5 stolen bases. They had an opener. They had the bullpen going. Like, they kind of they brewered that one. That was really cool. And I think if you get Reese going like the way he's going, and Yelly now putting the ball in the air, hitting homers, they're going to win baseball games. So, I think they're finding their team identity, taking advantage of some errors in that last game. Weston Wilson missing the fly ball, Trey Turner boots one, and then Jake Bauers comes and gets a hit. That's the kind of team that they have to be. They have to play better defense than they have been playing. And they have to, get their guys in the middle of the lineup to produce for them, whether that is Reese or Yelly or both of them at the same time. But one of them has to be going to drive in runs. And then, they've, to me, as of late, they've kind of found their identity where they really hadn't earlier on in the year.
I think it's a great week. And I think it's awesome for them. I could see them as an 83 or 4 win team. I think that's probably where they top out this year. I don't see enough consistency with them overall.
It hasn't been consistent, but if you're talking about this is the start of things, I could see that. I mean, this is a team that we constantly, every single year, we debate, are they even good? And then they win 90 games. I think it is going to take 90 games to get in the playoffs this year. So, they have to keep that in mind. A lot of these teams have to keep that in mind as we approach the trade deadline. So if you're in the National League, you got to win 90 games to get in the postseason.
Yeah, I think there's 3 teams that are very similar in the way they approach building a roster how they spend money. Things are a little bit different in Milwaukee because they gave Christian Yelich a $200 million extension. Tampa Bay, their $200 million player is sitting in a courtroom elsewhere. So the way they build a franchise, they watch their pennies. So Tampa, Cleveland, Milwaukee. And I feel like all three of them are just a little short this year. And with the Brewers, yes, during this 7-game winning streak, they're averaging 6.8 runs per game, which is awesome. But in the 22 games prior, they were averaging 3 runs a game. And I just don't see them having enough offense.
But they haven't. Well, they could though, because Williams Contreras hasn't really gotten it going yet. Jackson Chourio, I think, has more in the tank. So if all these guys, play to where we think they can play, I think they have the pitching to do it. Now, it's interesting. Some of the names aren't really there as you're talking about starters. I mean, Jose
Right.
Quintana's looked really good for them.
Amazing.
What is Logan Henderson? 4 starts in, he's got a 1.71. Is he going to be that guy? Like, this could happen for them. Is it likely? Like, I think you're on the train of no, it's not likely, but it is in the realm of possibility that we're just seeing the newest crop of Brewers pitching coming up. And then if we get those guys offensively where they need to be, like, yeah, this could be a real team.
There's a lot more ifs.
There's ifs, no doubt about it.
There's a lot of ifs. I don't feel like there's as many ifs with Chicago. And I still feel like Chicago is short in the rotation and in the bullpen, and they still have a 5.5 game lead over the Brewers. I think they're going to get better there. I don't know how much better the Brewers can get personnel-wise. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's just going to be really, really tough. I don't know how many teams are going to be in that National League race.
Not the Central. I'm with you 100% on that. The good news is they made up a couple games on the Cubs over the last week. So we'll see. They've only played 1 series with Chicago. Still 3 more to come. That'll be fun. Speaking of more to come, more show coming your way right after this word. Today's episode of Baseball Today is sponsored by Moo Moo. You know what? I've seen Moo Moo pop up everywhere lately, especially on Mets games. If you don't already know, Moo Moo is a global brokerage that serves over 25 million users across major markets. That includes the United States, Canada, and Singapore, Japan, and even more. Like other brokerages, Moo Moo offers $0 commissions and contract fees on stocks, ETFs, and options. But unlike brokerages, Moo Moo also offers a wide range of tools, analysis, and educational resources for free. To help celebrate their new partnership, they're doubling the promotion for our audience, now offering up to 60 free stocks and 2 sweet tickets to a Mets game with a qualified deposit. Not to mention, Moo Moo users can get free tickets to all Monday home games at Citi Field. Who knows? You might even see me there in the near future. Go all in on Moo Moo by clicking the link in the bio or scanning the QR code on the screen to earn up to 60 free stocks and 8.1% on your uninvested cash for the first 3 months. Thanks again to Moo Moo for sponsoring this video. All right, we're going to head out west. Really tough weekend for the Arizona Diamondbacks. They lost a home series against the Washington Nationals. Brandon Pfaadt probably has to see his sports therapist after that performance over the weekend where he didn't record an out. That was a rough one. The big question is, how is Corbin Burnes feeling? He was scheduled for an MRI on Monday. This pitch in the 5th inning, he was like, okay, something's wrong with my elbow. They just said inflammation at this point, pending the results of the MRI. He called for backup quickly after delivering that pitch. Here he is.
I've never had anything like it before, so I really have nothing to compare it to or know. My body does a pretty good job of telling me when I need to not do things and when I can push things, and it does tell me not to push it. So hopefully it was me kind of shutting things down before it got too bad, but won't really know until we look at it.
All right, if he's done for any amount of time, and we're going to get more definitive word later, is this season over for Arizona?
I mean, they seriously have to consider what they're going to do going forward. So I would say I would lean yes for them. And it's not just because of Well, it is. I mean, losing Corbin Burnes would be huge when they haven't really gotten great starts, consistently from anybody else.
Mhm.
But I think the strength of the National League paired with kind of just the start they've had and the inconsistency, I think, yeah, I would say yes. And I think you have to start exploring all those trades that we talked about. I think it was on last episode. They have some pieces there. They got guys in their walk here. They do have a core that's going to be around, so it's not like they got to rebuild. It's understanding where you're at in the season, take advantage of probably a seller's market and retool for next year. I think that's probably the route this is going to go if Corbin Burnes ends up having to miss extended period of time. I really hope that's not the case, but man, anything with the elbow like that, and when he feels something that calls them out right away, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, Arizona was one of those sneaky teams that you said, okay, who's a long shot in the National League that might be able to get through a few of those landmines that are those big teams, the Dodgers, the Mets, the Braves at the time, the Phillies, and could surprise us and be playing in that last series of the year. And we both felt like, yeah, Arizona's one of them. They have been extremely disappointing. I think it's more than just the last 2 weeks, but this has been horrific. They have lost 9 of their last 11. They're giving up almost 5.5 runs per game this year. Only the A's, Rockies, O's, and Marlins have allowed more runs this year than the Arizona Diamondbacks. Burnes, it took a few starts for him to get going, and he was pitching great as of late. He was their best pitcher. I mean, it was more than just that one start. Zach Gallen, I have no idea what has happened to him. Zero. We talked about it on dugout discussions about he had, with the exception of his 3 starts against the Mets and Yankees combined, he has been horrible. And he's like, yeah, you don't sit there and overanalyze it and all this. He's trying, he's searching for it. And he's it's him, Kelly, Josh Naylor, Eugenio Suarez, I believe, is a free agent after this year. So they have guys that you would think teams would come calling for.
No, they do. And like I said, if Corbin Burnes is out, then I think that's the route that they take. And look, we're only, we're into June. I think it's about time. We've seen the Dodgers now swing a trade. Like, I think there are teams that might be ambitious and start. If that news comes out today that, yeah, we saw the imaging on his elbow and it's not good, I think teams call right away.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's just short term, let's say short term, and it's 2 to 4 weeks or whatever, does that buy you enough time to try and figure this out by July?
I think they give it a go. If that's the case, I think they give it a go and see if these guys, not only can they, like in Zach Gallen's case, can he turn it around so he ups his trade value a little bit? I think they'll try to do that, but I think teams will start calling pretty dang soon.
I'm just going to check the schedule real quick here. So
Josh Naylor as a Seattle Mariner, they like to do trades together.
So the Diamondbacks are off today. We might not even get word until Tuesday's game before they play the Atlanta Braves. So we'll see. Sometimes you get word on an off day, and they said that they were going to have the imaging very early. We'll see if they release that to the public. We wish them well. That kind of sucks. All right, let's get to some umpire stuff. Bob Nightingale, USA Today, is reporting that the ABS system will not be put in place next year. Sounds like 2027 at the earliest. That is per feedback from the players to the commissioner's office after it was utilized in spring training. Well, we had every day there was a major blow up this weekend based on a strike call where managers, players couldn't believe what was going on. So let's break them down one by one. Let's start Friday night in San Diego. Pirates Henry Davis. It looks like ball 4 would have tied the game. Suarez gets the call. That is a replacement umpire, Edwin Jimenez. And Don Kelly, I don't know, is he trying to lead the league in ejections, even though he's only been here like 3.5 weeks?
He got ejected in his first game, right?
Second.
And I said at the time, second game, he's trying to set the tone. Now I think he's just frustrated with, being the manager of the Pirates, I think, is part of it. And he's trying to fire the boys up. But this one's tough because he's going to tie the game, Chris.
Right.
And you just don't want an umpire to affect the game like that. We know they have so much control, especially the home plate umpire. But when it comes down to situations like this, and that's when guys get extremely fired up.
And they asked Don Kelly, well, what did they say to you? Well, what can they say? We blew the call, we take it back. There's nothing to do. I mean, that's one where ABS, you tap the helmet and it's 3-3.
Well, you can't tap the helmet.
We will see that momentarily, but right? I mean,
yes.
In 2027, I wonder what the players' reluctance was. Maybe you can find that out for us.
I think there's something about a buffer zone they weren't aware of. I tried to kind of figure it out. I'll ask around today to some of the guys.
Yeah, that one was brutal. That was tough.
Oh my, it's tough. Yeah.
Saturday, you did not have this game on Fox. Carlos Correa ejected for the first time in his career. Austin Jones is the ump behind the plate. He made a call on Brooks Lee, and Correa from the on-deck circle went to bat for his dude at the dish, and it was a quick heave-ho. Pool reporter found out afterward that apparently Correa was warned twice, and he didn't stop, and so that's why he got ejected. Did you find out anything more about this?
That's what I heard too. I mean, he took a few steps towards him as well, and you're just not allowed to argue balls and strikes, essentially. So they decided to throw him out, and then Rocco goes out there. He gets tossed. I guess the point is you just can't argue balls and strikes.
Okay, so where do we draw the line? Because we've had a lot of this, and a lot of being said by fans on social media. It's the ump show. We're not there to watch the umps. We're there to watch the players. I get it. I've never paid to watch an umpire ump, just like I've never paid to watch an owner own. However, there has to be some sort of line there.
I think an umpire, like, what's a warning? If you say stop. I think if he says, Carlos, say another word and I'm going to throw you out of the game, I think you stop. Like, okay. They should not want to throw anybody out of the game. Especially, Carlos Correa is one of the Twins' best players, and he was getting booed a lot in Seattle, but maybe someone's there to watch Carlos Correa play. There were some Twins fans there. I think you should get as simple as that and say, Carlos, I'm going to throw you out if you don't stop. And I know that sounds stupid, but like, that would make him stop rather than saying, stop, and don't do that. Stop. Say, I will throw you out if you don't stop. This is the guy's never been thrown out in his career, Chris.
Okay.
But a lot of games.
Bill Miller, who was the crew chief, did tell the pool reporter he argued the strike call on a hitter that was at bat. He was warned twice to stop. He continued. He was ejected.
Yeah. I mean, it is as simple as that. And it's on Carlos, too.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to calm your jets a little bit, I would imagine. Were you ever warned to that point? Hey, Plouffe, if you say anything else, I'm going to eject you. I can't imagine it since you were never ejected.
I don't really remember. I try to do it the right way. Like, Mauer was someone that, kind of taught me, him and Morneau taught me how to talk to umpires. Just keep your head down. Don't like look at them and make a scene. If you want to say something, just kind of, Mauer would do the thing where he would kick the dirt. And while he was kicking the dirt, his head was down. He would talk to the umpire. And like, they just don't want to be shown up is basically the thing. So, yeah, I didn't really get to that point. I didn't want to get thrown out, Chris.
I got it. You like your money in order to tip better on the road. Yeah. Carlos Correa, first time he was ejected as a big leaguer. So that takes us to the most interesting one. It's happened Sunday in Houston. Rays and Astros. Taylor Walls at the dish. Nick Lentz working it behind the plate. That's low. Certainly to Walls it was. There was chirping from the Tampa dugout. And then watch what he does as he's talking to the umpire. Kind of grabs his helmet once, and then he taps it twice, which is the universal sign in spring training of, hey, check the ABS system. Now, Walls says that was not intentional. It was a quick hook by Lentz the minute he saw that. It's funny, but is the umpire wrong here or right?
No, he's not wrong at all, because they warned all the players that will be an automatic ejection. If you tap your helmet and do that, it's like automatic ejection. And Walls was tapping his helmet. At first he wasn't, but then he got, he was kind of like a little smart ass right
there.
And he looks back at him and taps his helmet. Like, he's going to get ejected for that. I was actually just talking about that on Saturday with a couple of the coaches of the Twins. And we're talking about ABS, we're talking about challenges, all this stuff. And they had told me that. I didn't know that the umpires had come and told the players that if you tap your helmet and you look at them, or just tap it in reference to the ABS system, automatic ejection. And then that play happened right there. So they've been warned.
All right. So for all of you fans that are saying that umpire should never work again, the players have been told. This is the world where fans, you're not privy to this information. You probably didn't know until Trevor Plouffe just said it, that players have been warned. Now, people will say, hold on. The Rays requested not to use the ABS system in their spring training games because they didn't want their players getting used to something that wasn't going to happen this year. I think the Reds did that as well, a couple other teams. So Walls is saying, I didn't even use it in the spring. Well, he saw. He knew exactly.
He knew
Did
exactly
you see
what
the
he
quotes?
was doing, Chris.
I mean, did you see his quotes? He's like, I don't know how he can throw me out if he didn't know that I was doing that intentionally. Come on, man. That's not going to hold up in a court of law. He did. He definitely did this.
He 100% did that. Like, I'm always have the players' backs, but come on.
By the way, here's
my son, my kids tell me, I didn't do it, Dad. I'm like, I know you did it. Like, it's the same kind of situation here.
So here's the picture, by the way. I mean, it looked low from the naked eye. Do you think that in the ABS system, and we're showing that for people that are audio only, we are showing the graphic of where the pitch is. It's on the bottom corner, but it is nicking the corner. Wouldn't that be called a strike?
Wait, is that the pitch he argued?
Oh, wait. Yeah, it's number 1, isn't it? Yeah, it's number 1.
Oh, then the rest of the at-bat, somebody else.
Yes, Morel came in to finish the at-bat.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
that looks like that's a strike.
Yeah, it's a bad look for Taylor Walls.
Yeah,
he's also struggling immensely as a hitter, and
that's
there's some frustration there.
All right, we got a lot of weekends highs and lows to get to in just a bit, but first, I want to tell you about one of our good partners, sponsoring today's show, True Classic. They're on a mission to make sure guys look good and feel even better. They've nailed it. Fit, feel, price across the entire wardrobe, not just tees like this one I'm wearing where you look and you're like, God, Rose, losing weight? The answer is yes. But I also look great thanks to True Classic. In addition to tees, they got hoodies and jeans and activewear and everything you need to level up your everyday style. So you could wear it while you're hosting a podcast like this, or you could wear it while going out to dinner with that someone special like I did this weekend with Michelle. But True Classic isn't just about great clothes. Their brand DNA is built on being highly intentional in everything they do. From creating high-quality essentials to making folks laugh with their hilarious ads, to delivering Ritz-Carlton-level customer service, to giving back to their communities they believe in, every detail is done with purpose. So forget those overpriced designer nonsense business. Skip the cheap throwaways. True Classic delivers premium essentials built for real life. Grab yours at Target or Costco, or head on over to trueclassic.com/today to get hooked up. You'll look good, you'll feel good, and you'll feel good about the business that you're buying from as well. True Classic, keeping it classy. All right, as I mentioned, a lot to get through on the weekend. We got late news on Sunday night that it is happening. According to ESPN's Jeff Passan, Jack Caglione is getting called up by the Royals after clubbing 15 homers at Double and Triple A. We'll talk about more of this on Tuesday's show before he does make his debut against the St. Louis Cardinals. How pumped are you for this one?
I'm excited. I think it's funny that we just had who was talking about not calling him up until the offense was on a hot streak.
JJ, his GM.
Oh yeah, it was him. They're not on a hot streak, so you kind of like lied to us there. But this is what the Royals need. I mean, they're throwing the ball well. They need offense. You got a guy that possibly can change things for you. It's going to be a test for him. This is big league pitching. But yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do. I mean, he looks the part.
It does.
I always, me, I'm always saying this guy, don't count on him being the savior because it's the big leagues. But I'm excited to watch him, man. I'm rooting for him.
They're averaging 3.3 runs per game, and they are dead last in homers by a lot. I know that the Royals fans have been eagerly anticipating this. We'll see how it goes. We're going to break it down much more on Tuesday. I am excited to see him. It's shitty for my Cleveland Guardians, who reside in the same division as the Royals, but I think he'll be pretty fun to watch.
Can I shout out your guy, Vinny P, real quick?
Please.
after they lost the first game of this series, he talked about him needing to get the job done. Him specifically, he said, "It starts with me. I need to drive in runs. I haven't been doing a good enough job of that." Next game, drives in the game-winning run. Love that for him.
Yeah. Also leads the team with 8 homers. Okay. No one, though, in baseball is hitting them higher or more often than a guy you saw this weekend.
Fly ball right field. Sailing back. Gone! Legend Cal Raleigh. The Mariners lead in the 7th.
He is putting on a legendary performance as he leads Major League Baseball in home runs. Okay, the single season record for most homers by a catcher, Salvador Perez set a couple years ago, 48 homers. I will set Cal Raleigh's number over under at 50 and a half.
Don't make me do this. I'm going to say under, but I don't want it to be under. But the 50 homers is crazy. I guess he's got 4 months, doesn't he? June, July, August, September. 4 months left to hit another 28.
He's on pace for 64.
I'm taking the under, Chris. At 50 is such a huge number. Like we just don't see 50 home run seasons. I know Cal's on an absolute heater right now. I just witnessed it myself. He took a ball at the top of the zone for a homer. That one we just showed off Chris Paddock was a curveball. First pitch, Paddock barely throws curveballs like that. First pitch, bottom of the zone, goes down. He's seeing the ball so well right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. We just don't see 50 homer seasons come along that often. So I'm going to take the under.
You know, everything about this screams under, screams fewer. I mean, catchers get so beat up. I told you the story about talking to the legendary Tim McCarver, who was a big league catcher for 2 decades. And he just talked about how you can't even hold a bat in your hand at times in the second half of the year.
He catches a lot.
Oh, he catches a ton. I mean, he's a Platinum Award winner back there. So you get so beat up. With all that being said, we're going over it. We're going over it.
I love that.
Let's go, Cal. Rooting for you, big dumper. Still need one of those bobbleheads, by the way, I think. All right, Mets sweep the Rockies as Francisco Lindor continued to show off his muscle.
In the first 2 games of the series, and he rockets one out to left, and that's going to give the Mets the lead back. Lindor's 3rd home run of the series, his 13th of the year, and it's 4-3 New York.
All right, more amazing stat to come from this series that the Mets have now won 26 straight games in which Lindor has homered, or that Rocky starter Antonio Sensinella, who picked up his 11th loss of the season on Saturday, or 10th loss of the season on Saturday. Meanwhile, the Rockies have just 9 wins.
It's so hard to talk about the Rockies right now. It's ridiculous, Chris. I don't know. More amazing stat. I think it's the 26 wins in a row when Lindor goes deep. I mean, there's a reason they paid him a lot of money to go there, be the leader of that team. Obviously, you bring Juan Soto in, but I think the saying goes, as he goes, they go. That's basically shown by this stat right here. So I'll take that.
5th most homers ever hit by a player at the shortstop position. Cal Ripken, A-Rod, Ernie Banks, Miguel Tejada, all pretty good players from what I've heard. And Francisco Lindor is less than 100 from passing Cal, I believe. It's not total home runs hit by those players. It's home runs while playing shortstop, I believe. With all that being said, let's focus a little on Colorado.
No,
I know I've tried to bypass.
No.
I have to. This is their 4th 8-game losing streak of the season. 4. There are teams that don't have that all year. They're 4 by June. The Rockies are 9-50. That's the worst record through 59 games in the history of Major League Baseball in the modern era. So that's since 1901. It's 120 years plus. Here's the good news for Sensatella. We haven't had a 20-game loser since Mike Maroth of the Tigers in 2003. So you have a chance. Now, there are some really good pitchers that have lost 20 games in a year. Before that, it was Brian Kingman at the A's in 1980. But 2 of the guys on the list, Phil Niekro and Steve Carlton, Hall of Famers. So Sensatella, there's still a chance.
I don't know, Chris. I don't know. Watching the Rockies, seeing like Orlando Arcia on the team, or Keston Hiura even more so on that team. It's just like this is where I would have played in 2019 if I had played on, like, just on the tail end of the career, trying to hold on the best I can. I mean, it's a tough watch.
Check on your boy Farmer. Make sure he's okay. All right, let's do these last few quickly. Astros and Rays split a 4-game set. Bigger story in this series, dominant pitching of Houston's 1-2 punch of Framber and Hunter Brown, or the hitting of Junior Caminero, the Rays, or Jeremy Pena with his ridiculous hot streak that he's on for the Astros.
Pena has been great. The Rays offenses looked really good. A lot of those guys starting to get it going. I'm very curious to see, where the Rays go from here. But I think the story was Framber and Hunter Brown coming and shutting down. I mean, double-digit run totals for the Rays in the other 2 games. But Framber's just been as consistent as ever. Hunter Brown's been ridiculous. I think they're going to be such a fun team to watch, as they're only a half game back as Seattle. They definitely have not played their best ball. They've had some injuries to the pitching staff. Jordan got bad news over the weekend as well, that he's going to be out for a more extended period of time. I'm very interested to see how they approach the deadline as well. They're going to be there. Like, it's almost like, and McCullers had a great start, his last start as well. So like they're getting something back with him. They're like my team to watch over the next month to see like kind of what's going to happen for them at the trade deadline.
Caminero, interesting series in those 2 losses where those guys started for Houston. 0 for 6 in the 2 other games, 7 for 11. 6 of those hits went for extra base hits, and he had 11 ribs. He's really a nice player for them, and don't ask me where he came from. Please, it'll make me want to puke.
You guys still aren't at Cardinals 2017 level yet.
No, but
2018. Yeah,
that one was pretty bad. Jays jumping for joy. They swept the hapless A's, whom Trevor will be seeing later tonight. But maybe they were jumping a little bit too much. George Springer on third base. We've seen a lot of players do this. They get somewhere, they kind of hop up and down. Max Schumann kept the tag on him the whole time. And yeah, he is levitating there. They replay it because originally the ump, you can see, called him safe. And no, reversal, he is out. Look at George. If you were in the Jays clubhouse, are you killing him for that?
I mean, that's a tough one right there. And good job on Schumann for putting the tag on him. I think, guys are doing that all the time now, just putting the tag no matter what. But this time it was warranted. I think he saw it. He's like, oh, I'm going to go do it.
Yeah. Big weekend for Max Schumann over there at third. He did a really nice thing when Dalton Varsho blew out round in second. Kind of helped him to the ground, too. It was interesting weekend at third base in Toronto. Last thing before we get out of here, Guardians announcer Al Plouffe did a nice job filling in for Matt Underwood this weekend, probably with the announcing catch of the year on a foul ball. Here we go. Look at this. Snag it. No problem. It's pretty good.
That's my dream right there, Chris.
Yeah, you bring the glove.
I have the glove. And you know what happened on that's awesome catch. Congratulations. And I'm very jealous. On Saturday night when we did not have the game, our booth, which was empty, got a foul ball. Right to it. Like literally like right behind where I sit in the booth.
Unbelievable. What a bummer. Yeah,
I don't know what's happening in Sacramento. I have no idea where I'm going to be, but
let's just keep our fingers crossed it's in the stadium. By the way, the funny part was that Al Plouffe makes the play. The guy he's sitting next to is Rick Manning, who was a former Gold Glove center fielder. He wanted no part of that ball.
He ran away.
Rick's like, come on, Rick. All right, we are back at it again tomorrow. We'll look forward to listening to you tonight. Not a heavy slate of games, but certainly will be fun. So for our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, for our awesome intern, Sawyer, that is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Tuesday here on Baseball Today.